Economic pressure we know hurts them the most right now.
There is a diplomatic push that has been ongoing. We saw Pakistan's army chief on the ground in Iran today to explore the possibility of resuming talks with the United States. No plans for any more dialogue to be taking place, though. Elizabeth?
All right, so no talks and a threat of economic action, but without any specificity. Robert Sherman, thank you for that update from the Middle East. Joining me now, retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward is the former Deputy Commander of CENTCOM. He grew up in Iran and is now a member of the Iran Project with the Jewish Institute for National Security. Also, Behnam Taleblu is a Senior Director for the Iran Program at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy. It's great to have two Iran experts with me tonight. Admiral, what did you make of the Treasury Secretary's announcement? Bessent says this is economic D-Day for Iran, warned of economic asphyxiation. There was a lot of hyperbole, but not a lot of detail.
Well, it's a strategic shift in our policies. We went into this thing on limited warfare. We were just going to use military might. Now it's the whole of government. It's all our elements of power, political, economic, and military. And he made that very clear in his comments today. We're going to hold anyone who's not supporting us, not part of this economic and political power. As you saw the president making calls today, you're going to be part of the effort or you're going to be part of the problem. And we're going to hold you accountable for that. So we've gone into the next phase of somewhat unlimited warfare. We're going to see the end of this regime as it currently exists and the policies and programs they've had. That's what this really represents.
But, Ben, Iran went through nearly 50 years of sanctions from the United States and the West. I mean, they have proven they can survive over and over again. And this isn't even the first one. Early on in our war, we had another operation against them that had punishing economic sanctions. And those didn't work to accomplish anything.
Great to be with you both. Listen, not every single sanction is akin to the previous one. Despite the Islamic Republic facing major economic pressure over the past 4.5 decades, basically due to the policies it has pursued against the wishes of its own people and against, the better senses of even some of its, political class at certain times. Ultimately, what President Trump is offering here and Secretary of the Treasury is offering here is a form of financial warfare against the Islamic Republic that builds on something that we haven't had before, which is major economic pressure, plus going after third parties while maintaining the maritime blockade, while still keeping that military posture intact. So what the Islamic Republic is facing is absolutely unprecedented if, and here's the key word, if the Treasury Department carries out the threats that are leveled today.
That's a big if, because one of the biggest customers for Iran is China. Russia and India are also big customers, and it's unclear what, if anything, the president and this administration are willing to do as far as further sanctions on China. Right now we sanction a handful of sort of independent Chinese refineries. This would include, I guess, banks, but are we willing to really do that, Admiral?
Without a doubt. That's one thing. The president has done.
You think without a doubt we're going to further sanction China, and they're not going to retaliate by sanctioning us?
We're going to go after components, those people who move money, the people who pay for the oil. So when you say go after China, it's components of China that are part of the problem, without a doubt. Now, does that become a strategic issue for China? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to take that risk. So, yes, I think this is, as my shipmate just said, this is unprecedented economic warfare. This will change the internal dynamics of Iran dramatically and in the not too distant future. So, yes, I think we will go after parts of the Chinese apparatus that has been coming after the U.S. asymmetrically below their terror line. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go after all those components, and rightfully so. We're setting a whole different tone here.
Ben, if these sanctions work, how long will it take, do you think? Because the regime, they're just fine. It's the people of Iran who are going to suffer, right?
Well, actually, no, because the longest suffering victims of the Islamic Republic are the Iranian people. And that's deal or no deal, war or no war, sanctions or no sanctions. I mean, the Islamic Republic of Iran was sliding towards failed state status anyway, even before the war, even before the maritime blockade, even before the threat of these latest sanctions. Lest we forget, it was the despicable economic situation
Right. But
compounded
that's
by
what I
the
just
economic.
said. It's the people who are going to feel this, not the regime itself.
No, the regime will feel this. Lest we make a mistake, the regime will feel this. It's less revenue to pay the security forces. The security forces of the Islamic Republic have seen a boon in the financial windfall that they've gotten over the years. And just to push back on what you mentioned about China, you don't have to start big. You have to work your way up there. There's tons of regional trade that needs to be cut off. For example, the Secretary of the Treasury mentioned Bank Melli today. That's a bank that was sanctioned due to its support for terrorism and support for Iran's proliferation programs. But this bank actually has branches in European countries, in major European capitals, major European cities like Paris and Hamburg, for example. You got to start there. 6 of the 7 Emirates, the UAE is a partner of the United States, have branches of this bank. That's where you can start. That's where you can signal resolve, and you can escalate to be able to scare China without ever being able to have to rattle markets in the way that the Secretary of Treasury was worried about today.
We shall see if these work. As you put it, Ben, it's a big if, but we'll see when it plays out what happens, what the countries do, and what the United States and this administration is willing to inflict on those who won't go along with cutting off trade with Iran. Vice Admiral Robert Harward, Benim Taliblu, thank you both so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.